You can see those milk solids in that fat just starting to drip right there. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back for another video. Today's video, we are going to be doing a very regional burger, and I want to say very regional because I'll be honest with you, I personally haven't really heard about this burger in other parts of the country. And the burger that we're going to be doing today is a butter burger. And I'll say the butter burger isn't really that popular here in Chicago either, but is very popular just north of us in Wisconsin. The butter burger is also used at fast food restaurants like Culver's. We're at Culver's. So this is what their butter burger looks like. It's a smash patty with a bunch of vegetation on it. Looking at this, I probably wouldn't assume that this is a butter burger. Yeah, it's a really good burger, but when I'm thinking about a butter burger, you know, this isn't what I'm thinking about. One that we're gonna be making is gonna be the version that I'm a little more used to seeing when I'm in like Wisconsin. The burger is really simple. It's just a burger with cheese, buttered onions, and then a top bun with a hefty amount of butter on top, and it just kind of slowly melts. To take this burger to the next level, we're gonna try to grind our own meat. So without talking about too much, let's head out to the garage and start grinding our own beef. So that's it right there. We got all these strips and these nicer, more manageable chunks. It'd be really nice to feed into the grinder. And just because we can just drop it down there, we probably won't have to use a plunger as much to kind of shove it through. All right, as you guys can see, it's pretty coarse. I don't like it when it's super smooth because then for the thicker patties, it's hard to get that steak-like kind of texture that you're looking for thicker patties. I'm just gonna work it a little bit just so that there's not so many air pockets throughout the different grinds because it is pretty coarse. And we wanna incorporate any spots and those little bits of fat that we got all throughout the grind. Show you guys how I pack this. I did some plastic wrap, but on top of the ground beef, because I wasn't going to be using it right away, I put some wax paper on top of it to keep it from oxidizing. And of course, my scale died. Great. Fortunately for me, I got this other scale, so that's going to be nice. All right, so for this butter burger, we said 1/3 pound. We're just above 5 ounces right here. To form this patty for the butter burger, get parchment down, get our 1/3 pound patty, kind of push it down to make sure we can get the top to be like nice and flat. Also on the edges right here, just make sure they're nice and compact also. The lacy edges for this one might become an issue because it might just start flaking apart. While the lacy edges for a smash burger, when you press it down, it kind of smashes and spreads, but these kind of still fairly stay chunky because it's a thicker burger. Some compact, flatten the top, parchment over the top, and just squeeze it nice and evenly all the way through. And this one, we do want a little bit more height. We don't want it to spread out as much, but we still want to spread out enough so it's slightly bigger than our burger bun, just so that when it shrinks up, you know, we'll have a better shape or better kind of distribution of burger to meat. If we try to get it to where it's exactly the size of the bun, it'll just shrink up, and on the edges you'll have nothing but just kind of bun, so that's not what we want. This is what our burger is looking like. It's got some height to it, but it's still wide enough to kind of cover more than just a bun. And just like one last time, if there are certain edges that you feel like might be too spread out, you can just kind of tuck them back in. And one more time, we'll just give it, just with our hands, a little light press, and that's it. All right, so for the butter burger, other than putting butter on top of the burger, we're also going to be putting some onions in there. As you guys can guess, these onions are also going to be kind of sauteed in butter. We're going to cut these up and get them into like a pretty big dice because they're going to be kind of sweating down into the butter. We want it to still have a little bit of texture. We don't want to overcook it so it kind of gets mushy. Alright, so we're gonna keep them nice chunky pieces because we don't want them to break down too quickly when we saute them in butter. I guess the size of onions that you guys could think about if you've been watching my other videos is kind of like how we made the jalapeno and onion jangachi for the Korean barbecue stuff, but yeah, that's what we're looking for. So something like that, nothing too crazy. So for these onions, we're gonna put them in the saucepan. I want to say let's put about a tablespoon of butter in there. Butter, onions, and a little bit of water. We're gonna get this over the stove. We're gonna let the butter melt. We're gonna let the water kind of help it steam a little bit. And again, we're just getting enough to where all the layers of onions will break apart, and also that they have still a little bit of bite to them because we don't want to get them to be super, super soft. All right, so these onions have been going on for maybe, I want to say 15-20 minutes or so, but as you can see, the butter is still there. The butter and water is still kind of like sitting in there. The onions are just steeping, and that's what we're looking for. They're looking nice and translucent, but they're not completely just mush. So that's what we're looking for right there. And we're definitely going to stop cooking these now, because if we let them go for a little bit longer, I think they will become mush. Alright guys, so here is our 3rd pound patty for our butter burger. And before we start searing it off, we're just going to simply season it with some salt and pepper. Alright, now that we got our oil nice and hot, slide this 3rd pound patty right on here. Yes, if you wanted to, since it's a butter burger, you could throw some butter in here and butter base your burger, but I don't think we need that. And because all the toppings on this burger are going to be pretty soft, like the onions that we have, you know, the bun will be pretty soft as well, so we just want to make sure we get a really, really good sear off this burger. Alright, in a couple minutes, give this a flip. Yeah. And hopefully you guys can see like the texture of this burger. Just because it's a little bit more coarser ground and it's not super smooth, even though this isn't a smash burger, you're still getting those nice lacy edges. Since we're just going to do a single patty, and just because it's a little bit thicker burger, being a 1/3 of a pound, I'm going to do 2 slices of cheese on here. And also, dairy is very important to Wisconsin, so might as well double up on the cheese. You can't have a burger that doesn't have cheese that's melted properly, so give us a quick cover, turn down the heat, and just let it ride for a little bit. About 30 seconds later, there you go, we got some melted cheese. Alright guys, let's start assembling our butter burger. So our base is going to be our nicely toasted bottom bun, our 3rd pound burger with double cheese, our onions that have been sauteed in butter and a little bit of water. Oh gosh. And just to bump up the flavor of these onions just a little bit, I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt on top, and a little bit of black pepper. Now at this point, I still would not consider this a butter burger, because the next thing that we're gonna do is take our top bun with some room temp butter, and we're going to butter that top bun with 1 to 2 tablespoons of butter. And then we're gonna slowly watch the heat from this toasted bun, the heat from the onions, from the burger, and then it's just gonna melt over everything underneath it. So this is about 1, maybe 1.5 tablespoons of butter right here. That's how much we're putting on there. That's how much I've seen people put on. And we'll do a little bit extra because I don't want anyone from Wisconsin to say that I didn't butter it properly. Then we're just gonna lid it. You can see those milk solids in that fat just starting to drip right there. All right, let's get into this. The butter up top is all melted now, but you can still see the onions, you see the cheese, you see that the texture of that burger right there. Just a taste. This burger is just as ridiculous as I had it the first time. Normally when you go to like restaurant, people are always like, man, why doesn't my chicken breast or my steak or my salmon or pork chop, whatever, why doesn't it taste as good as restaurants do? And it's because of the butter. And this would be the perfect experiment to do with someone like side by side. It has a really steaky texture to it. Like when you go to steak houses and they have like a half-pound burger that is like leftover burger grind, like this is what it tastes like. And this is just from a, you know, from a chuck roast. Out of this entire thing, I would say the one thing that's really coming out and it's really nice is that black pepper that we added to the onions before we, you know, topped that burger with a whole lot of butter. It is one of those things that it's kind of like changing the flavor kind of as you kind of go through the burger. And I kind of want to put more black pepper on there actually because of that. Definitely wouldn't recommend this if you guys are on a diet, that's for sure. But it's just so easy, and I'm like blown away about how good it is. It's so easy. It's so easy to make. All you need is meat, cheese, onions, butter, and bread. You wanna try it? Good, right? You know why? Because of that butter. I just wanted to show off a regional burger that maybe not a lot of people know about. So anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I would love to try out more regional burgers and to do experiments like this, because now the other thing that I'm thinking about is like, you know, maybe adding some coarser ground pepper throughout the burger, or instead of having butter just melted, what if we did it with brown butter instead? And like, how would that change everything? So yeah, it's always fun to kind of try out different like recipes and see what you can do to elevate some flavors. But that's it for this video, guys. If you guys like this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. I'll see you guys in the next one.